to end the last one and then restart this one. So let me see if I can add Sylvia to this one now. And hopefully she'll be added.
But okay, yeah, I just created a list. Places like Mom's, Harris Teeter, Food Lion, Walmart, Target, Wegmans, and Sylvia said the dollar store by her house has done it before. And I guess just basic questions to ask, like, how long we'll be able to do this for? Do we need to provide our own jar box, or is this something you can provide? And maybe try to call and set up a meeting with the manager in advance. That way we don't just walk in there and they're like, there's no one here for that. So
yeah,
I think that's a good place to start. But I'm a little worried about some of the places I haven't heard back from, just because it's been almost a month now. But we'll see if they do end up getting back to us.
All right. The other thing that I was going to say with regards to that is I've also been doing some research, just a little bit more research when it comes to corporate sponsorships. Like I've actually looked up, corporate sponsorships or charity gala sponsorships to see like who usually funds these things, because there's lots of charity galas all the time.
Oh yeah.
There's usually like a big sponsor or a list of sponsors.
One big sponsor, yeah.
They love doing these things. So I was kind of like looking around. I found, I think, two of them, or two different organizations, and they're both banks. One is PNC Bank, the other is BB&T. BB&T already got back to me and said that while they would love to host ours, it doesn't really match with what their interests are, so they won't be able to. But they said, maybe in a few years we'll expand to international stuff.
Okay.
Even though I said this would be an American event, because its focus is kind of overseas,
right.
and they're saying, we're focused on like very specific things here that help here, like with education or help with like, autism. They're like really focused on specific things, so they wouldn't be able to do it. But that was one option, and I know a lot of banks usually do corporate sponsorships, so that was like another strategy that I was thinking about.
Maybe like Wells Fargo or something.
Yeah, like maybe some more banks would do something like this. I know banks are always trying to get their name out there like that, so maybe a bank would be interested in being a corporate sponsor.
You said you already got in contact with PNC?
So BB&T said no, but I did get in contact with them. They responded, after 5 hours, so they were pretty responsive. So hopefully all banks are like that.
Yeah, I'm going to put down here Wells Fargo. Trying to think of another one that might be maybe American Express.
All right.
Or Capital One, too.
Capital One.
College Park uses Capital One for everything.
Too.
And you said you tried PNC?
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, that's another thing, and then to just kind of look up what we can find.
Right. And like I said, I'm still waiting to hear from DMV Stylish Society. I'm hoping they can provide something, whether it's like they can do some blogging for us for advertisement. Even if they can't personally attend, maybe they can do blogging, social media, because they have like tons of followers. So maybe they can like start a social networking movement. That would help as well, which is advertising.
Yes. Free advertising is good.
Yeah.
Along with the free advertising, and that's kind of our next thing. I have a few things to say about that. But before we move on, Sylvia, I did want to kind of talk about really quickly what we had just previously mentioned. Obviously, there's this like little fundraising gig that we're going to try to do on the side with the grocery stores. But the other thing that we were talking about doing, and something that Christina is going to look into, and each of us should try to at least target, maybe one or two, is banks or other charity gala sponsors. So when I did some research on who sponsors charity galas, because I know there's always a lot of them, and I know, there's always some sponsor behind them. I kept seeing a lot of banks, so we talked about maybe reaching out to a few banks that might be interested in responding. So I reached out to BB&T first, just to kind of see where it would go, and I got a response the same day, which was great. I haven't really received a response like that from anybody else. So maybe this is a common thing between banks. I don't know. But, they did tell me no, but they told me maybe in a few years they'd be interested. The only reason they had to tell me no is because what we were doing wasn't under one of the things that they usually do in terms of sponsorship. So they usually focus on very specific things, and our focus was somewhat international, and they don't have that expanse yet in terms of what they do. So they said, maybe in a few years we'll get there.
So for the bank one, did you send the grant letter, or did you send just like the regular donor letter again?
I sent the grant letter.
Okay.
And I had to send it. I found an email address actually for the person who was responsible for consumer relations or something it was something corporate relations or something like that. I tried to find a person's name and contact instead of info at or whatever. I found a Michael, whatever, and I emailed him, and then I CC'd the info at, and then I got a response from Michael's assistant, CCing Michael. So for me, I felt like that was really effective because I was able to at least get right to the source rather than waiting and I don't know if they got my request and. Usually with the online forms, maybe they ignore. Yeah, so I know with the bigger corporations, it's really hard to get a name. They don't provide one. So for you, Christina, you've had some, setbacks in terms of, I'm waiting around.
I just so a lot of them sent confirmation saying they received it, but they're like, we'll get back to you, kind of thing. So. And
with bigger companies, it's usually like that. So.
Yeah. And then even if you follow up, they'll, a new person will answer the email and be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep. So I think a tactic would be to try to get a name, if it is a big corporation, or try to work with local groups that aren't poor, that have some substantial funding, like banks and things like that, that might be interested in helping out here. All right, so that's the fundraising piece. In terms of the ticket. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Sylvia, but I'll just kind of screen share so you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the ticket for the VIP guests. There'll be a place where we can rip it off and keep it for our records, and they can keep this whole thing as their souvenir. And then this is the regular admission ticket. These are going to be printed, from my understanding, on very nice paper. So I'm happy about that. Because I printed them regular paper.
I can't see it on the screen.
Oh, can you see it now?
No. But I can go online later and look at it.
Okay. So that works. Anyways, so very nice looking tickets. They'll be printed on nice paper, so that's great. We were also talking about doing a program or brochure for the event. Which will kind of list the agenda, just background information about UA, background information about all the things we're doing. And all of that is great, and we'll collect all those details and do that closer to the day of the event. So these are just things to kind of keep in the back of your mind. In terms of the tickets, though, those I'm getting pushed to kind of finalize those and get those printed sooner so that we can go ahead and start selling them. Or disseminate them to volunteers to sell. So I have a few thoughts about that. Yes, I want us to go ahead and give the tickets. Well, the VIP tickets are for people like ambassadors, so those automatically go to them without them having to pay or donate. So those will go ahead and go to them. Now the regular admission tickets are things that we disseminate to volunteers to sell. So my thoughts are, yes, let's do it that way, but let's also do this the online and social media way. So things like the fashion blogging, advertising about our event, things like Eventbrite, Z Events, Living Social, all those things that have those events on them, posted on them, that we can post for free. Let's take advantage of that and post something about our Christmas Wishes event. And I think the timeline for that is probably going to be within the next few weeks, that we're going to want to kind of really push for that and get, we can call it like an early bird special for people to buy tickets and give them an incentive to go ahead and confirm and get them early and really make a push for this and have a very clear strategy for other volunteers who want to tell people about it or who want to post this on their Facebook, how to do that. Because we'll want to kind of generate, by having the ticket sales, we actually generate some funds to put on our event. So that'll be kind of the reasoning behind doing this ticket sale push so early.
Right.
All right, so getting the word out, I've kind of already covered that. In terms of the social media aspect, we'll put on all the events websites that they possibly have. Eventbrite.com works really well for if you have an event, because you can actually have a brief description, you can have your website, pictures, and you can even stipulate a deadline and tickets to where they can purchase the tickets or something like that, and it goes to our PayPal. So that's a very neat website to use. And obviously, once we're final with the ticket and we get a go, we can work on wording or something like that, and get that finalized, and then kind of share it with each other and see how we feel about it, finalize the wording for that, and post it. All right, the next thing is updates on the event. We've kind of already discussed all those things in terms of our updates. Obviously, we still have a lot of work to do. In terms of getting where we need to get. We still need to solidify comedians. We still need to kind of get a children's group to work with. We still need to finalize those details of the fashion show piece. So there's still a lot of, things that are moving parts that aren't necessarily locked down yet, that we'll need to kind of try to finalize before we, make our agenda final.
Right.
In terms of additional items, I don't really have any. In terms of what you can do, Sylvia, I think I'd really like you to help out with, whatever piece you feel comfortable with, and then, of course, on the side with the fundraising. And so, kind of based on that, what are you most interested in helping out with?
I still wanted to, because I haven't been on the Trello page recently, but I still wanted to go and kind of look at the different things and see what I can best offer. And definitely the fundraising. Definitely want to be doing something with that, but I still want to look at how far everything has progressed and see which one I can best fit in.
All right, very smart. Good. Any additional items?
Not that I can think of. So what I'll just try to jump on right away is talking to the grocery stores and then trying to follow up with Little Friends for Peace.
The next week, talk to those other groups, those other children serving.
I think you're cutting off. I can't.
Yeah, you're cutting off.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then, over the next week, Christina, you'll work on talking to those other groups that serve children?
The other two. There's was it 2 or 3? I think it was 2 or 3 more.
I think it was 2 or 3, and then you'll also work on a bank, possibly.
Yes.
All right. And over the next week for me, I'll work on finalizing that ticket and working on getting that printed. I'll put together a little one-pager that we can, use when we're approaching people about this, and maybe we can even use it potentially in the future. But it'll be a one-pager we can use when we approach grocery store people, and I'll work on that very soon over this weekend. And then I'll work on more banks to reach out to and corporate sponsors. So that'll be my thing this week.
Okay.
All right.
So getting the bank, talking to the grocery stores, following up with Little Friends for Peace, and the other 2 children's organizations.
Yes. And Sylvia will take a good look at Trello and see where she can help.
Okay, yeah. I was trying to show it to her when we cut out. I was showing it to her on my phone, how it's set up and everything. So.
Oh, yeah. It's very good on your phone.
It's really easy.
Yeah, I just got the app on my phone, so I'm going to start making use of that.
Sounds good. Okay. I'm going to post this video, since this is the first one we've really recorded, on the Trello board in our meetings. where it usually says like meetings at Navy Memorial, whatever. I'll kind of post our like videos there from now on.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, sounds good. All right, thanks guys.
All right.
you.
See ya.
See ya. Talk to you later.